Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by the Topoco Lodge. When it comes to weekend stays or weekend getaways, there's no beating the Topoco Lodge. Same goes for those of you setting up business, family, church, or personal events. I want to thank them for being a part of the show the last few years, and you for absolutely blowing their doors off. Learn more at topoco.com. The Topoco Lodge, topoco.com. All right, let's take a look at Tennessee's basketball slate as it stands right now. There's still one more opening, but Tennessee released the full slate this week. And as a guy who complains that you usually get a lot of UT Martin type games, well, you got UT Martin there, but you don't have many others that are UT Martin. This is the best, and let's face it, they've played really good non-conference schedules since Rick Barnes has been here. But for my money, on paper, this is a tremendous schedule. You got 9 of these 12 games that are legit. In my 7 name brands and 2 others that are solid programs, like UNC Greensboro, can't speak. 21-9 last year, made the tournament. ETSU, Desmond Oliver coming back here, the UT assistant. That was a 500 team last year. We know how they can be. That's a solid program. But you look at Villanova, and then either North Carolina or Purdue in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut outside New York. At Colorado, who was a good team last year. Texas Tech in the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden. Greensboro, who I mentioned. Memphis, who you play in Nashville. Arizona. And then in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, they're sending Rick Barnes back to Texas to play Shaka Smart.
Well, it's not Shaka Smart, is it?
At Texas.
No, he's
That's right. That's right. He
it's
beat
the former
door.
Texas Tech coach.
Yeah, that's right. He beat the door. He beat the posse to get to Marquette. But still, Tennessee versus Texas. I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's just close this segment. I was wrong on something. But anyway, you look at that. That is a spectacular schedule, culminating with that January game that the leagues set up and kind of hand you. But Rick Barnes going back to Texas, whether Shaka's there or not.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a great list, guys. I mean, as somebody who thinks that basketball shouldn't have gone from Thanksgiving all the way back to Halloween over the last 20 years, which it's done, if you play this, okay, I'm good with it. That's impressive. Your thoughts? Am I viewing this schedule a little too through? Or do I have the Chuck Cavaleris orange-colored glasses on that it's that impressive? Are you guys as impressed as I am?
Oh, I very much am. And depending on how football season goes, if you are starting in the middle of the football season, say, okay, what happens with basketball season? The non-conference slate before SEC play begins will give you something to look forward to. And I think this has been one of the biggest strengths of Rick Barnes. As John mentioned, scheduling has been good, but these connections that he has and the branding of Tennessee, with Rick Barnes being the head coach, gets them in these kinds of games.
Well, and I think that when you do schedule like this, and look, the football team is not going to be any great gun, so there will be more attention on basketball. When you schedule like this, you get people's attention. If you do schedule a lot of teams that are lower level, that their RPIs in the 300s, people aren't going to be very interested. But the other part of that I think is helpful is, and John, you mentioned Kennedy Chandler coming in here. You've got some other really good freshmen coming in here. You've got Fulkerson coming back. This is a team that's got a chance to be exceptional. And a lot of people want to see what these newcomers can do. I think that adds to the equation with this. And by the way, I expect Gonzaga to be back on the schedule pretty soon too. They were supposed to play them, and they got canceled. I bet they rescheduled them for future.
Well, and I said there's one more opening, but my guess is that will be one of the ones that I'm not that interested in.
Well, I mean, and I look at it, I'm always looking at thinking about NCAA tournament and the chance to get some quality wins.
Yeah.
I mean, and that bumps you up there, and that helps with that favorable seating. And John, I know you had a lot of airline miles. I was looking at December 4th at Colorado. That'd be a pretty cool time to be out there. And then, boy, I love seeing Memphis on there a week before Christmas in Nashville. That would be awesome.
There will be national attention on these games, too. Recruits will see that. So you go back to recruiting for Tennessee basketball, they'll see these games.
There's a downside to all this.
You might lose a couple.
You lose some of these, you're going to get mad. Oh, you can beat Presbyterian, but you lost to Memphis. Oh, you can beat UT Martin, but you lose. You play that many good teams, you're not going to smoke through all these guys and have a big record. That could be more impressive. Your record at the end of that could be more impressive to the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee than it might be your own fan base. And I will salute Rick Barnes, whether that's just a product of where he is at this stage in his career or whether he's just got the guts of a gunslinger. I don't care what they like it or not. We're playing them. It could bite me in the butt, but we're lining them up and we're playing them. Outstanding. I remember when the UT football program would do that, and they didn't just schedule Pitt as their big game or BYU as their big game.
Yeah.
This could also
Bravo.
this could also help you become tournament tested.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
This could
I
help
mean,
you
the whole
in March.
thing.
This is absolutely a good thing for Tennessee basketball.
Yeah.
And how many times?
And when they're 5-5, we'll remember that.
And how many times have we said the regular season, guys? Does it really matter? Well, it matters in terms of preparing you and getting you in situation against other top teams away from home. I mean, I think it's win-win.
I love it. Happy with it. Congratulations to UT. Again, if I hadn't had that segment a few weeks ago at the end of the show where
We'll
I just
never
threw
see
away
this.
and said, they need to shorten the season. They don't play enough good games. If I hadn't done that, you'd have never seen this game.
That's a text I got from Rick Barnes the other day.
I figured.
I was thinking about what John said.
Yeah.
It was Sokowiak and those guys were like, how can we really stick it to Pennington? All right, very good. The Vol football program continues to hemorrhage bodies. We'll discuss that next. Come on back on the Sports Source.